June 2022 and was chaired by the Deputy Chairperson of the African Union.
The COVID-19 pandemic cost East Africa partner state between $37 to $79 billion in terms of output losses. The region continues to rebound with intra-EAC trade growing from 13% in 2019 at a value of $7.1 billion to $10.17 billion, a 20% increase by September 2022.
How do we improve the intra-Africa trade that is currently running at 13% and we want to push it to 50% compared to other parts of the world? And you see what the Americas are doing at 60%, the Asia are doing over 60, Europe is doing over 70. We want to do possibly the same, that's why we are here. Secondly, is the issue of peace and security, which we are covering here. And as you've asked, the issue of peace and security in Eastern DRC. The moment DRC became a member, full member of the East African community, it became a collective responsibility to ensure that we have peace in that particular part of DRC. As we speak, processes have begun. We structured in a manner that we have two processes. We have the political track and we have the military track. Political track is where we have groups that are involved in the conflict coming together under the coordination of the facilitator, the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta.
East Africa partner states have agreed to establish free trade or zone duty imposed on goods and services amongst themselves and agreed on common external tariff, whereby imports from countries outside the East African Community Zone are subjected to the same tariff when sold to any other partner state. Goods moving freely within the community must comply with the East African Community Rules of Origin and with certain provisions of the protocol for the establishment of the East African Community Customs Union.
Integration, look at it. At the end of the day, what we need is an integrated Africa. And in Africa, East African regional community, East African community, is the most integrated regional economic bloc. And what we are saying is to bring our people together. One, we should make it easy for people to move from one country to another. As we speak now in East Africa, you don't need a passport to move from Uganda to Kenya or from Uganda to Rwanda. You can only use your national ID. And we want to roll out this use of national ID across East Africa so that we make it easy for people to move, one, to do business, but also to enhance our social integration between the peoples of East Africa.
The states are in the process of harmonizing critical policies and putting in place the requisite institution to attain a single currency for the region by 2024 as outlined in the East African Community Monetary Union Protocol.
We are in the process of having a common currency. Now we are working towards having a common currency in East Africa. So possibly in the next 3 years, we are going to be using a common currency within East Africa. And lastly, as we expand, which is one of our key objectives in East Africa, whereas we include the DRC, we are in the process of having Somalia also join the East African community, so that we have a bigger bloc within our region.
With Africa having world's largest free trade area of 1.2 billion persons market, the continent is creating an entirely new development path, which requires that it harnesses the potential of its resources.
We are still working towards having open skies within the region. Traveling within the region, within East Africa itself, has been a challenge, and that is something that the Excellencies Heads of States, partner states, are discovering we can make it better. Why would you pay, for example, coming from one country to another, $500, when actually the same $500 you can pay from, let's say, from a country in East Africa to Middle East? And therefore we are trying to work around open skies. Why would you want to move, for example, you are traveling from Nairobi, going to Senegal, you have to go through Europe or Middle East.
On a peaceful continent and East African bloc, a third round for peace talks for the Democratic Republic of Congo ended in Nairobi towards settling conflicts in the country's volatile eastern provinces, as the Congolese government accuses the M23 rebels group of killing at least 270 civilians.
Step is continue to push for all the stakeholders, and particularly the groups in Eastern DRC, to come on the table for discussion. And that is happening. Already we have had 3 meetings, conclaves. We are going to have the 4th one. And what I can assure you, in the period between 6 to 12 months, we are going to achieve peace in Eastern DRC. One, because there's a lot of political goodwill from all the leaders, but also ourselves as East African community, we are supporting them to ensure that we facilitate the process, because peace is very important, and that's what we are looking for in Eastern DRC. Not only Eastern DRC,